everyone. I'm Connie Fan. I'm a product strategy and analytics lead here at Google Cloud Security, and I'm here to talk to you about supercharging defenders with Security AI Workbench and Duet AI. When we as Google thought about how to best apply generative AI to the security domain, we realized that there were three key themes plaguing this industry where we could really make a dent with this new technology. And those themes are threats, toil, and talent. We understand that for our users and customers, they're just facing an absolute threat overload. We know that this continues to be an ever increasing problem with threat actors becoming more sophisticated and unrelenting than ever. And we really think that there's possibility to help our defenders strengthen their abilities here. As a second point, we understand that security is not always fun. Security can, in fact, be very toilsome, very manual for many individuals, and automation is hopefully here to help. And then finally, the talent gap. Depending on what the latest stat you've seen is, you probably know that it's hard to hire security experts today. The industry knows that it needs many more professionals to fill seats in enterprise roles, but it's really, really hard to find those individuals, and it's going to take a while before we can train them all up. And so, in the interim and beyond, we would love to offer a AI expert to sit next to the practitioners who do hold these roles today to help make the efforts of one analyst more like the efforts of three analysts, or beyond 50 analysts, if you will, in some world. And then, of course, for individuals who are more novice practitioners to be able to upskill from learning side by side with an AI expert. So with that, let's imagine a world where, with the help of Gen AI, borrowing from the medical industry, once we've observed patient zero, we don't let there be a patient one. Someday, we actually do see a world where systems can secure themselves with the help of AI. And on the talent side, I think we've already covered this in the last slide, but imagine shifting how practitioners do security so that way they can be more effective with the time that they have. So how do we actually do this? Here at Google, when we started experimenting with the more general purpose foundational models some year ago now, we found that they were so helpful and gave us a there enough to believe that there are useful applications of Gen AI in security, but they needed a bit more fine-tuning and a bit more reworking of the already great model to truly output high-quality responses. With that, we got to work and we started fine-tuning a model. Google really sits on some of the best-in-class data now with Mandiant and VirusTotal all coming together. The teams possess unmatched aperture into the most sophisticated cyber attacks, and with the years of experience of these practitioners and the data that they've curated, we were able to assemble a data set and continue to assemble a rich data set to fine-tune a model so that we can offer a model that's more useful to security practitioners today. All of this not only sits on the shoulders of security research giants, AI research giants, but I'd be remiss to not mention that this model is served via Vertex. The key things to note here are with Vertex, you get an enterprise-grade AI platform, and that comes with the identity management, the SLOs that you would expect from such a service, and particularly noteworthy with generative AI, your data will always stay yours. We do not train on customer data. We do not train on your prompts. When you bring something to our model, you can rest assured that it will not show up in the response of another customer. We trust this model and this workbench so much that we've plumbed it into our own products. Reverting back to the key themes that are driving us, threats, toil, and talent, we're really proud today to introduce new Gen AI features in our own products to address these needs. The first is Duet AI and Mandiant Threat Intelligence, where you get thousands of hours of research by Mandiant's leading security analysts automatically summarized and distilled into personalized reports. The second is Duet AI and Chronicle Security Operations, where AI enables natural language search and transfers the task of writing an effective detection from minutes or hours of work to seconds. A defender simply needs to provide in natural language the question that they would like to search, and they can skip needing to know about any niche syntax in the security industry or the vast schema of the security data they're trying to query, and they'll be able to much more rapidly get to the answer. Our last example is Duet AI in Security Command Center, where AI translates complex attack paths into easily understandable explanations about an organization's risk exposure, including the right steps to fix vulnerabilities before an attacker can fully exploit them. These kinds of insights allow AI's ability to analyze vast amounts of data for connections and then amplify the critical issues that ultimately matter. So, to summarize, Duet AI and security can help security teams prevent threats from spreading beyond the first infection, reduce the toil of repetitive tasks where systems proactively recommend the next steps, and pair novices and security experts with AI expertise to just make it easier to do security and free themselves from repetition and burnout. So, we've used this model in our own products. We're also excited to invite partners and customers to use Security AI Workbench and the SecPalm 2 model for the tasks that matter to them most. In terms of interacting with SecPalm 2, there's not that much difference in how you go about deriving value from this model, other than knowing that you can rely on it most when you're asking for security tasks. The two primary ways to keep in mind are more traditional, if you will, if anything can be traditional when it comes to LLMs, prompt engineering, and the newer set of extensions that we're excited to launch shortly. For prompt engineering, that is a new skill set that we're really encouraging our customers to develop. And the better you know how to ask a model the right question, the more likely it is that you will receive a favorable answer. On the extension side and the tool augmentation side, we're going beyond just textual answers and just textual responses to questions, but being able to call APIs with model responses and being able to retrieve near real-time data from your proprietary data stores to stitch into your answer when you need it most without ever exposing it to the model directly, or to take low risk but valuable actions on your behalf. So what does prompt engineering really look like? You might have heard a number of terms be thrown around now in context learning, chain of thought. These are all really exciting approaches we encourage our users to explore with SecPalm 2. But just to paint a picture to make it a little more real for folks, the same way you might provide a couple examples to any other model, you'd want to provide to SecPalm 2 as well if you're really trying to use in-context learning for your prompt engineering approach. And again, this is just one way, but to plant the seed a little with our viewers out there, what you can do oftentimes if you don't know whether or not the model has been trained on your particular task, but you think it's been trained on something similar and could likely generalize to your task, one thing that we've noticed already can bring quality leaps and bounds ahead of just asking the question is if you show just a couple examples of here's the question, here's an ideal answer, here's another question, here's another ideal answer, all within one realm of task. All right, now model, you go. Here's the question I actually care about. Please extend yourself from the few examples I've given. And that seems to work particularly well. So just one example there for folks to keep in mind, and plenty of other literature out there for how to learn more about prompt engineering. Over the last couple of months, as we've embarked on this journey, we've been really, really lucky to have a rich partner ecosystem to build on Security AI Workbench and generative AI across Google Cloud here with us. And so we've learned a ton from our partners and are so appreciative of all the contributions they've made and all the exciting features that they'll announce soon. And so what have we actually learned over the last couple months? Touched on it just a few moments ago, but prompt engineering is really, really key. Gen AI is in and of itself is not a silver bullet. Some baseline understanding of how to prompt the LLM is really what you need to develop to get going, and really just how to start experimenting, how to get more hands-on, is where we encourage folks who want to take a next step to focus the most. Secondly, we know that our customers love Gen AI because of how creative it can be and how much it can add to any given question at hand. But the other side of the same coin of creativity is hallucination. And that's something that we're being particularly cautious of here in the security domain. Beyond just investments in the model itself, we're investing very heavily in grounding efforts specific to security to make sure that the answers that we give you are trustworthy. Then While there are so many possibilities for different use cases of how to apply generative AI here in security, we did want to say that across our partner domain, we are seeing some convergence early on in the use cases that people care about the most. Just to call it a few, we're seeing summarization of different structured security data, natural language to query, and general security Q&A. And so what do each of those mean? For summarization, if you will, taking a log source, for instance, dropping in your own raw log and saying, hey, model, can you tell me what's suspicious about this log? On the natural language to query side, no longer needing to learn niche syntaxes, much like an example that we walked through earlier in Chronicle, is an area where many partners are developing great capabilities. And finally, on general Q&A, there's so much jargon in this industry. There are so many terms to know. We're finding that many folks just want one reliable source, a single search bar, if you will, to give you trusted answers. And we're really converging around being able to rely on a grounded model to provide such answers. And so just to bring it back to the infinite possibilities, while we are seeing great convergence across our partners, we are all admitting that we are very early on in this journey and there is so much exciting work to come. And so we are constantly surprised by the new ideas that folks are coming up with. And we invite you all to come on this journey with us, to come up with even more ideas beyond the ones that you might have heard about today. If you'd like to join us on this journey, please check out our webpage to sign up and learn more. Well, we look forward to hearing from you soon and hearing about all of your great ideas for how to apply generative AI in the security domain. Thanks for joining us today.